Exercise professionals shouldn't sell exercise, or they shouldn't even sell results. If you want to create a positive long-term change, you need to deliver an experience. I'd like to share the content from a presentation that I'm giving at the Exercise and Sports Science Australia National Conference in Hobart. I'll teach you why the best business strategy is to be different, not better. In 2007, an interviewer asked the comedian Steve Martin, "How do you be successful?" And the 7-word answer he gave is perhaps the most complete and succinct business advice ever given.
When people ask me, say, how do you make it in show business or whatever? What I always tell them, I always say, be so good they can't ignore you. And I just think that if somebody's thinking, how can I be really good? People are going to come to you.
To me, that is just genius advice. Be so good they can't ignore you. But what does this mean for exercise professionals, or for any other pursuit for that matter? What do you need to be good at? Well, there are just two things you need to be good at. You need to be unignorably good at being different, and you need to be unignorably good at delivering a remarkable experience. That's it. And that's what I want to talk about, just those two things: how to be unignorably different and how to deliver an unignorable experience. Okay, let's start with different. First, I'm going to tell you why you need to be different. And then I'll give you 2 very practical action steps you need to start doing immediately to become unignorably different yourself. I want you to picture something. I want you to picture yourself as a pirate, standing next to Captain Jack Sparrow on the deck of the Black Pearl. Your cutlass is drawn and you're fighting for your life. The ocean is crowded with the ships of your enemies and there's blood in the water. It's theirs and it's yours. In business, this battle for the life of your business is called red ocean thinking. The red ocean is one where everyone is competing to be the best. You're all doing pretty much the same thing, with everyone trying to be better than everyone else. There's so much fighting going on that there's blood in the water, the red ocean. In 2005, Chan Kim and Renee Marborn published Blue Ocean Strategy. The blue ocean is an ocean that only you are in. You're not spending your time trying to be better. Instead, you're trying to be different. If you're different to everyone else, there is no competition. You're in a category of one. To succeed in a crowded red ocean, you need to be 10 times better than anyone else. To succeed in a blue ocean, however, you just need to be different. And it's easier to be different than it is to be 10 times better. So let's look at ESSA, Exercise and Sports Science Australia, our governing body. Our whole profession has a bit of a branding problem, a bit of an identity crisis. People see exercise physiologists, rightly or wrongly, as the poor man's physio and the rich man's personal trainer. Now, if I was going to try and overhaul a branding strategy for ESSA, I'd say we need to stop competing and start differentiating. We need to stop telling people what we do and start telling people what we don't do. It's called goal dilution. If we admit to being bad at some things, it implies that we must be really good at others. We don't do bodybuilding. We don't run fitness classes. We don't diagnose your injuries. We don't do manual therapy. We do use exercise to manage chronic and complex health conditions. All right, so that's what I do for the organisation, but back to you. And this brings me to my first action step to be unignorably different. We need to define your USP, your unique selling proposition. Here's your first exercise. I want you to complete this sentence. The thing we do that is different to everyone else is ... Now, if you're struggling for ideas, you're not alone. Everyone struggles with this. It's hard to be different. So here are some areas that you could potentially be different in. You could have a different target market, a different price point or revenue model. You could have a different problem that you solve that no one else is solving. You could use different tools to solve that problem. Your location could be different, the experience you provide could be different, or your area of specialization, your use of technology, or even a support of a cause can make you different. This unique selling proposition, it needs to be at the very heart and soul of your business. It needs to underpin every single thing you do in your business. Now, this task itself is very simple, but it's also stunningly difficult. In the past, I've spent weeks and sometimes even months mentoring business owners through identifying and then building out their USP. What I'm asking you to do is fill in the blank. The thing that you do that is different to everyone else with something that no one else who's listening or watching this, no one else in the room, no one else in the entire country does. Now, to the exercise physiologists and even other health professionals, I'm sorry to tell you, but if your USP is in any way related to exercise as medicine, personalised prescription, individualised care, empathy, going the extra mile, building relationships, using exercise to improve quality of life, evidence-based prescription, meeting people where they are, a health-first approach, long-term habit formation, amazing communication, or anything else related to these, if your USP is related to those in any way, you are not unique. Because I've heard countless, hundreds of health business owners all claiming this as their point of difference. These things aren't special. They're a baseline expectation. This is a cost of entry. Now, soon I'm going to be talking about how to be remarkable. But I got a question. What do you think the opposite of remarkable is? Do you think the opposite of remarkable is boring? Is it vanilla? Is it forgettable? No, the opposite of remarkable is very good. Because everyone in the red ocean that I spoke about is trying to be very good. These things are a cost of entry. These baseline things, providing amazing experiences, building relationships, using empathy, individualization. This is the cost of entry. Don't try and be very good. You need to be different. Let me give you an example of what it means to be different. Let's look at 4 different clothing brands, and they're all known for their outdoor apparel. Let's talk about H&M, The North Face, Uniqlo, and Patagonia. 4 brands that you think are in the same market, in the same red ocean. But one of these things is not like the others. Because while H&M, Uniqlo, and The North Face have faced a lot of criticism for their negative environmental impact, Patagonia is actually less of a clothing company and more of an environmental advocate. Here's the founder of Patagonia, Yvon Chouinard, talking about the mission of the business.
What we're trying to do as a company is make the best product, cause the least amount of harm. And the last part is to use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. So that's the reasons why we're in business.
So Patagonia's USP might be something like, the thing that we do that is different to everyone else is we build outdoor gear that supports environmental activism, not just adventure. So these guys aren't actually competing with the other 3 clothing brands. They are in a category of one, a blue ocean all of their own. And in a moment, I'll show you how to prove their uniqueness and how you can do that too. Now, if you can get through this intensive short-term process of exploring what your own USP, your unique selling proposition is, the rest of your life in business will be easier. But a word of warning, done right, this will be uncomfortable, confronting, and extremely difficult. It's hard to be different. Now, of course, it is possible to be successful in business without having a well-defined USP. But it will be difficult. You'll always be pushing a rock uphill. You'll always be fighting with other people in that red ocean. Because remember, you either need to be different or you need to be 10 times better. Trying to be 10 times better means that in the long run, business will be 10 times more difficult. But business is already hard without making it even harder. So find a business you can roll downhill instead of one that you have to push uphill. All right, so that's your first step, identifying your USP. But to be unignorably different, simply defining your USP is nowhere near enough. You need to live that USP. And that brings me to your second piece of homework. I want you to make a list of the 20 recurring actions you will take in your business that are going to prove that USP true. This is where you put your money where your mouth is, backing up your words, your claim of being unique, of being different, with actual action. These are the regular actions that you should be able to take that give me the evidence to prove that you are, in fact, truly unique and different. So here's how the process is probably going to go. The first 8 items on your list, the first 8 things you do to prove to me that you're different are probably going to be pretty vanilla. They're going to be the first things that spring to mind, meaning that other people have probably thought of these things too. Nothing special there. Now, items 9 through to 12, they might be a little bit more novel, but still probably not unique. Coming up with items 13 to 16, things are going to start to get a little more tricky. You need to think outside the box, which is a good thing. But It's the final 4 actions, the final 4 things that you can take to prove your USP where the real magic happens. All the easy stuff is gone. All the obvious stuff is gone. All of the red ocean thinking is gone. And this is where you can truly become unignorably different. I need to be able to read out that list of 20 repeatable actions and think to myself, wow, yes, this business truly is unique. And they back that up through the daily actions that they take. So let's go back to that outdoor clothing brand, Patagonia. You remember their USP. The thing that we do that is different to everyone else is we build outdoor gear that supports environmental activism, not just adventure. Now, if they were to list 20 points that support their USP, here's what some of their final 4 actions might include. And these are actual things that Patagonia does that convince me that they are indeed unique in building a clothing brand that supports activism, not just adventure. First thing they do, a program called 1% for the Planet, where they donate 1% of total sales directly to environmental causes. Then they have their Worn Wear program. This is where they buy, repair, and resell their own gear to promote reuse over buying new. Then they've got their Don't Buy This Jacket campaign, which encourages reduced energy consumption through openly discouraging unnecessary clothing purchases. And finally, they have their Earth Tax. This is Patagonia's self-imposed tax to fund grassroots environmental and sustainability initiatives. These things prove to me that Patagonia are unique in their unique selling proposition. They are different. They're operating in a blue ocean all of their own. Now, you remember that we kicked this off by talking about Steve Martin's advice to be so good they can't ignore you. I've told you how to be unignorably good at being different. The second piece of the puzzle is to be unignorably good at delivering a remarkable experience, an experience driven by your USP. Now, if I'm talking to a room full of new grads, I ask them what they sell. If I'm talking to exercise physiologists, they tell me that they sell exercise physiology consultations. If I'm talking to a room of personal trainers, they tell me they sell personal training. 2 years later, I ask them the same question. What do you sell? By this time, they've matured a little bit. They tell me that they sell a result, an outcome, stronger muscles, denser bones, lower blood sugar levels. And obviously all this is true. They do sell these things. But if you give people enough time and enough experience, people realize that what we truly sell, what we truly give to our clients is an experience. It's not exercise physiology or personal training that keeps people coming back. It's not even results. It's the experience they get while they're receiving the results. You see, I firmly believe that we're not actually in the exercise industry. We're not in the health industry. We're not in the fitness industry. We are in the hospitality industry. And one of the most powerfully practical business books I've ever read is called Unreasonable Hospitality. And it's written by author and restaurateur Will Guidara. Here's the author talking about his ideas.
Service and hospitality are not the same thing. Service is the thing you're doing. In my world, it's getting the right plate of food to the right person at the right time. Hospitality is how you make people feel when you do that. I don't care what you're serving, what you're selling, the way you make people feel will be the thing that they remember more than any of that.
All right, so let's get practical with this. Here's your action step to be unignorably good at delivering a remarkable experience. I want you to design 2 experiences for your clients. The first is what I like to call the micro experience. This is every single thing that happens from the moment they step out of their car to the moment they step back into their car an hour later. You need to design every single step of this visit. What's the first thing that happens? What do they do next? Then what? Now, the second experience that I'd like you to design is what I call the macro experience. This is every interaction your client has with you and your business, from their initial awareness of your brand, the first time they reach out for help, their transition to a paying client, right through to long-term retention and referral. It's every point of contact that combines to create their experience. Every point on their client journey is part of the product that you're providing. Now, here's the kicker. Both of these journeys, the micro and the macro, can be as absolutely fantastical as you like. And there's a very simple question to ask to decide whether an experience is unique enough. Is it remarkable? Let's look at that word, remarkable. Remark able to be remarked about. Because remember, you need to be different, not better. So what unique experiences can you introduce? A quote I love, or a concept I love, is from Brian Chesky. He's the co-founder of Airbnb. And he talks about the thought experiment he ran when he was designing the Airbnb customer experience. And he said that 5 stars basically means that nothing bad happened. It's a pretty low bar. So he challenged himself to design a 6-star experience, then 7, then 8, then 9, and finally a 10-star experience. It obviously gets completely unrealistic, but it's a useful exercise. I challenge you to design an experience so remarkable that your clients are going to have to email the Google reviews department at Google requesting extra stars to review your remarkable business. Start with the mundane, the everyday stuff. Taking blood pressure, writing reports, administering a PAR-Q. How can you make these ordinary experiences extraordinary? Let's look at the example of Apple. They asked how they could make something as simple as opening a box a remarkable experience. Their research showed that peak dopamine and anticipation occurred from a 5 to 7 second unboxing experience. The designer of the box, Johnny Ivey, says packaging can be theatre. It can create a story. And here's a perfect example. Here is a box from a MacBook Pro. They went through 50 different variations of materials and levels of friction and airflow to create this unboxing experience. And now what they have is a box that takes between that 5 and 7 second mark to slowly open, so the anticipation builds, so the dopamine builds, so by the time the box finally drops open, it creates this maximal experience of a product, making the mundane remarkable. Even packaging can be theatre. It creates a story. So once you've made the mundane remarkable, there are opportunities for unique standalone moments, peaks of experience. Here are some remarkable peak experiences offered by some of the businesses that I've mentored in the past. There's the gym, who takes their members skydiving to celebrate their 10-year anniversary. The exercise physiologist, who dresses up as a different Avenger character every week for his Marvel Mad NDIS client. There's the gym called Life's Peachy Fit, who hand deliver a tray of fresh peaches to their members to celebrate 25 classes. There's the exercise physiologist, who attends all medical and allied health appointments with his elderly clients. There's the bootcamp owner, who actually converted an antique ice cream churner to an arm-erg so his group classes could churn ice cream as part of their workout to celebrate a member's birthday. These are all remarkable. People will tell their friends. So what's next? Well, here are the 3 things you can go away and do to implement right away. First, complete this sentence. The thing that we do that is different to everyone else is. Second, make a list of the 20 things you'll do to make that statement true. If you do these 2 things, you'll become unignorably good at being different. And the third thing I want you to do is to design and implement the micro and macro journeys for your clients, where you make the mundane remarkable, then sprinkle in some extra unique peaks of experience. If you can do that, it will make you unignorably good at delivering a remarkable experience. And that's it. You don't really need to worry about anything else in business, because you'll be so unique, because you'll provide such a remarkable experience, because you'll be so good they can't ignore you.